Turning now to ITMA, public health is at risk as fewer people become veterinarians. There are several Indiana counties that do not have a large animal vet. Less than 5% of new veterinary graduates enter into large animal or farm animal practice. ITMA's Richard Essex explains what this means for you.
That's the biggest issue, is that realistically, there's just a real lack of, especially those veterinarians that are willing to really work in the large animal focus.
Kevin Underwood is a farmer from Tippecanoe County. He raises pigs, corn, soybeans, and popcorn. On average, he keeps around 100 hogs. His vet services 10 other farms like his in the area, and retirement is approaching.
The biggest issue that we're facing is the fact that we deal with a veterinarian that is getting up there in age, and of course then there's no one really filling that pipeline behind, and so it's the decision or concern about what are we going to be dealing with in terms of our relationship with the upcoming veterinarian in the next 5-10 years when he decides to retire.
In an emergency, if his vet isn't available, the next nearest vet is nearly an hour drive away. All across the state of Indiana, there are counties that don't have large animal veterinarians at all.
Then we are in the shortage area.
Mary Beth Feitz and her husband own Princeton Veterinarian Hospital in Gibson County. Their practice includes both small and large animals. They are one of 5 such practices in southwestern Indiana, and they attract clients from Kentucky and Illinois.
What is advanced?
She says part of the veterinarian shortage problem is there are only 30 veterinarian schools in the United States and Canada.
Most veterinary schools have a class that's roughly 70 to 90% female. And in general, women gravitate, for the most part, towards more small animal work, where you can have a more predictable schedule, you can have more predictable hours, and you don't have as much on-call time. And that's completely understandable. But as the practice has shifted to a more female demographic, we've also shifted away from large animal work.
Sam Sweppy and her husband own a dairy farm in Dubois County. They have a vet that lives just a few miles away from their farm. She says they are lucky to have one so close. A recent trip out west on Interstate 70 opened her eyes to how few veterinarians are available.
From St. Louis to Kansas City, you will see 3 billboard signs along the interstate advertising for large animal veterinarians on the interstate.
Video of her veterinarian trimming the hooves of some of her cows on the farm, which is a routine procedure, but in an emergency.
When you have cows calving every day, that's the wonderful thing about farming. You don't know what challenge you're going to face when you get up in the morning.
Dr. Feist says the large commercial farms have veterinarians on staff. The underserved population are the family and medium-sized farms with livestock. Most large animal veterinarians come to the farm. However, in order to meet demand, her practices built a barn specifically to hold large animals delivered by the farmer.
That's probably the most common emergency that we need to go see overnight, is something with a farm animal, because there's really nowhere else for them to go.
In an effort to encourage recent veterinary school graduates to become large animal vets, the Department of Agriculture is offering limited tuition reimbursement to those that move to rural areas that don't have a vet. In Indianapolis, Richard Essex, Wish TV, ITMA.